Alright, kind of a response video to fact versus religion, Laura. Yeah, I'm a little stunned. The video is just so bad. It's not an objective morality, but she calls it superior morality. And it's just, I don't know. Well, anyway, I'll play the video. Let's do the routine.
Even though I don't think that there technically could ever be such a thing as subjective morality, I think there is such a thing as a superior morality. Even well,
I mean, there's just no point in saying something like that. There's no objective scale, but by our subjective scale, we can come up with it. Well, of course, you would go for the superior subjective morality. I mean, what? This is just, it defies logic. It really does defy logic. So, but let's...
Much as it applies to life, particularly the human species. And
particularly the human species. So this is like human morality on top of being it's superior human morality. So that's the qualifier. Okay, got it.
I'm going to explain what that is, and I wrote this out because I wanted it to be really concise. Morality is the subjective expression of our ability to anticipate the most likely course of action in order to ensure optimal survival of our genes.
Optimal survival of our genes. So we should base our morality on survival of our genes. We should ask a DNA molecule what's the best thing to do. So I should walk up to a circumstance and I should ask the DNA molecule, should I hurt myself one bit or risk one bit of myself to help that old lady stuck in the middle of traffic who doesn't have similar enough genes to me? I mean, this is this is ludicrous. This is preposterous morality. Asking a DNA molecule that creates little clone slaves, in ant colonies, termite colonies. That's how let's pattern our civilization on that. Yeah, we will just enslave the masses so some big fat queen can be a big fat queen. Yeah. Oh man. What happened? Did you drink some bad water and you were in America? That's some bad water here.
Morality is the subjective expression of an objective principle.
Morality is a subjective expression of an objective principle. An objective principle that doesn't have a definition. So it's like how could, if you had an objective principle, let's just say there was one, which I contend there is, but let's say there is. Shouldn't that be what you're defining? The objective principle? Because then we can analyze an objective principle. And a subjective interpretation doesn't mean anything.
Objective principle is evolutionary survival of our genes.
Again, I just can't believe this. How can you say that with a straight face? That survival of our genes is what an educated, intelligent human being should find their priority. That all else should we should just lay waste to all other considerations. I mean, we know where that leads. I mean, number one, World War II, right? Because we are competing. As humans, we're competing with each other. Our individual genes. That our species is competing with other species. And so, yes, let's just eradicate all the other species on Earth. That's what the DNA screams loud and clear. Get rid of anything that might arise and become competition. Sterilize it all. Crazy.
This idea of morality, and I'm going to use the Christian Bible here. The religious idea of morality is a collectively agreed upon set of behavioral guidelines based on a subjective principle. The subjective...
So you're making a distinction that somehow religion is objective and your superior morality is somehow objective because you've defined the governing principle to be a DNA molecule. So the choice is to pray to a DNA molecule that has no brain, that is governed by natural selection, and it only has two missions: consume and reproduce. And God, who at least he might be a son of a bitch and an asshole about a lot of things, But he does say things like, take care of the children, and the meek will inherit the earth, and do unto others, have others do unto you, and don't kill each other, and don't cheat on each other, and don't steal each other's stuff. I mean, at least it has something. DNA molecule doesn't have any of that stuff.
The principle is the commandments written in the Bible, which are objectively unverifiable because the Bible is not universal. Yet it is
yes, but the principle that the DNA molecule deserves respect, that is universal. I mean, we all got to see how brilliant the DNA molecule is. The DNA molecule knows what it's doing. It's here, right? So it must be the real God because it is actually here. It's in every one of our little cells, so we certainly should be praying to our DNA.
Demonstrated that every culture on Earth and almost all species of animal, well, the ones that have brains larger than the grape, have some sense of morality, ranging all the way from...
Well, grapes aren't really animals. Some sense of morality. I don't think they have a sense of morality. What they have is a desire. They have desire, right? And they have a capacity to feel pain, or sentience. They can be driven one way or another way. All right, but that's it. That's what central nervous systems generally do. The sentient ones.
Primitive, for example, not eating your own offspring, all the way up to complex social cooperation.
Right, so you're saying that because the DNA molecule imposes that structure of their life, they can't really behave outside the structure provided through their evolution. And yes, it would necessitate the constructing of, they'll eat anything else but their own kids, except sometimes in emergencies you do what you have to do. When you're calling that morality, you're calling something built into us by a cold, hard, brutal, unfeeling, unintelligent force, and the structure of a consuming and reproducing cell, and its evolution over time, guided by no ethics whatsoever. Anything that could be any kind of guidepost, except whatever will work, and you're calling that morality. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know what happened. I mean, I guess some brains get better with age, and some brains just ferment into vinegar. I mean, how the hell could you think this was a rational proposition?
In any advanced society, you will find a set of laws which that society has collectively agreed upon to adhere to. In order for the individual and the...
Right, so on top of the DNA, might makes right. So whatever pop culture says is good is good. I mean, come on. It's pretty lame.
Collective society to thrive optimally. Those laws need to be open to review and, if necessary, change based on changing developments and circumstances within the community.
Well, they have. They've changed, okay? I mean, even the religions, they might say stone them, they don't stone them anymore. I mean, human beings have modified their totem poles, but obviously they can only do so much to it. So yes, it's a good argument against religion that, God got around here 2,000 years ago and hasn't made a visit to update the contract. The covenant is looking a little bit, but they always have the bailout. They can always just say, "But he's coming any day now. His train's just late. It's going to be here any day now to redo the covenant. So no problem." This is just really.
Now, this is the big one. The reason why the commandments in the Bible offer an inferior moral compass when compared to today's laws and judicial system.
Yeah, the social contract. So that's not even a morality, right? The social contract just says you might be a son of a bitch, and it might be in the best interest of the human race for me to beat you to a pulp. But obviously I can't do that, because if everybody thinks they have a right to do that, then everybody's going to beat each other to a pulp. So we make this agreement not to kill each other. We make a lot of agreements in law, but that's not morality. We're not doing it because it's the right or wrong question. It's not about whether the person is actually deserves either the freedom or imprisonment they will get. It just has to do with what you as a society practically have to do. I mean, obviously the idea of punish people for crimes that have already been committed is of very little value. That's a religious ethic. But our social contract does it because obviously it has to create a deterrent for crime.
Is that they are not subject to change based on social evolution. They simply are.
Social evolution to what? I mean, it's just this presumption that there's no good or bad evolution. There's no good or bad cultural dominating perception. So I mean, Nazi Germany was an evolution from a previous generation, but it wasn't a good evolution. So a lot of bad ideas in there.